Todd Kearns, and our regular programming of Out on the Weekend with Griffin has preempted.
Wow.
Sorry, Griffin.
You're a well-worthy replacement.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we just heard so much of your music from different bands.
Yeah.
Age of Electric, Static and Stereo.
Wasp, Bon Jovi, when I was... Just kidding.
Here in the arrangement of a medley that you have coined.
Yes, exactly. You guys can use that, medley. It's a new thing I just coined.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I mean, I might take that word sometimes, throw it here and there in conversation.
You know what? Another one I coined? Mixtape. You can use that too.
Oh, wow. Is that when you record different songs into a same cassette tape?
Yeah, but there's usually a theme. Sometimes it's like, you're trying to get a girl to like you, so you make the songs. A lot of Cure. Always the Cure and the Smiths always seem to be the ones that worked back then.
Cool.
Back then, by like last week, I mean.
I will take that recipe back home and
Please
try
do.
it.
If you hand somebody a mixtape these days, they'd be like, wouldn't even know what. I don't have a cassette player. How do I play this? Mix waveforms.
And a lot of our, audience member, you would say, our intimate circle of friends right here,
Yeah.
were at your show last night, which was the taping for your live DVD.
Yes. Yeah, they were. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, I always feel like, did we kidnap these people's families or something? Why are they all here? So, but either way, I've really been blessed to be able to go around the country and meet people and make friends. And I mean, honestly, around 2006, I moved down to Las Vegas. I didn't move officially, as I said before. I just kind of relocated. And it was an interesting time because I'd done a solo album. I was producing bands at that time, and that's kind of what brought me to Vegas originally. So I kind of, in a part of me had kind of like started to kind of step away from the performer side of it, which is bizarre to think about now. Even like when I think about myself, I go, how the hell could I have imagined walking away from that? Because ultimately, performing is, I think at the end of the day, is what I do. I think it as a songwriter and a producer or any of the things that I do, musician-wise, the performing aspect is what I think I'm the most natural at in a way. And I think that's sort of the idea of stepping away from it back then, that the Las Vegas thing really kind of brought it back. But even then, it was sort of more like in a local sense. Like I wasn't really intending to kind of go on the road. And as I said before, there was a very short list of people that would have pulled me out of that kind of world, and Slash was one of them. And so, very quickly it started to be, a Facebook page from South America, Todd Kearns wherever, and Todd Kearns Germany, and places, Russia, and crazy places like that. So it was like really, wow, it really kind of blew my mind that, that I could consider not performing anymore to suddenly having this. The world suddenly seems so much smaller with the internet and with touring and with, just traveling around. You realize, I would always say to the guys, I go, it's really weird that we can just come in here, sit down, watch Daddy Daycare and some other movie, and all of a sudden I'm in Australia. You go, wow, we're in Australia. And I was like, and the world just seems so much smaller once you start touring. And once you know people, like I know people in Japan, and I know people in Australia, and I know people in Russia, and in Germany, and the UK, and all over the planet now, South America. And I mean, the idea, that I wouldn't perform now is a bizarre thing. I think there will be a retirement someday, but I think it'll probably largely involve me being too old to tour anymore, and I'll be like in the corner of some Las Vegas restaurant.
They have to lift you off the stage, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as I got a ramp, I can get my runabout out there. And then I can play, whatever they'll put up with for a while. And so I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what the question was, or if there even was a question. Let's just keep talking until we kind of cycle back.
Exactly. Let's just go full circle. Yeah. But I do feel like your global family is very loyal, and that's how
She said it.
Just through some research.
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah.
But you were able to kind of just go on Pledge Music, and everyone can just kind of do their part, support you, and you are now gonna go through with this live DVD, which is super exciting.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing about the crowdfunding, we call it, is it really sort of takes out this sort of. It's hard to kind of like sound negative about the record industry, because I'm really not negative about the record industry at all, actually. In fact, there were aspects of the way things were that were really awesome, and there were aspects about it that were really rough. And I'd been through both sides of it, But I think that when you take away that sort of thing and you just have a direct avenue to anybody who cares, you know what I mean? That's like, you're not asking anybody to do anything other than sort of pre-order something you have going on. And if they had that when I was a kid, that I could have put my name on Shout at the Devil or something, in the thank yous, it'd have been like, wow, that's me right there. And, underneath all this other stuff, that's, my name. So not to think that I'm in anywhere in the realm of Shout at the Devil, but I'm going to play that next set. To me, it's a really interesting and really fascinating, and it goes back to a lot more of the punk rock aspect that we kind of grew up on. Age of Electric wasn't really a punk rock band, but we sort of came from that realm of like do-it-yourself and the DIY kind of mentality of we just made music and we put it out there, and if you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine. And we were never concerned about how many people showed up at our party, the show. We just kind of wanted to make sure that the people who did show up had the best time possible and really enjoyed themselves. And that's still the ethic that I remain today. Is it doesn't matter if it's in the daylight in the afternoon and we're all sitting on couches together, or if it's in a festival in Germany for 20,000 people. To me, it's sort of, it has to be the same headset. You can't go on stage kind of going, oh, okay. I don't understand that. I've never understood the idea. My friends in Vegas, they're working musicians, and they'll say things like, oh, I got to work Thursday night. And I go, work? And that never ever sat right with me. I go, you get to get up on stage and play music. That's not work.
It's play.
It's play. We get to go play. And there's a great line from a New York Dolls song that says, they go to work, we go to play. And I've always maintained that that's 100% pleasure. It doesn't mean that if you got 104 fever and whatever else is going on that it's not challenging, but it's still, I've always been very, very conscious of the fact that I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to go do some very strenuous job or stressful job. Guys like my father who worked for 1,000 years and in some job he probably didn't want to do. So I feel very lucky. It's never too late. There's another line from a Kiss song, which was originally done by Argent. Is the line, it's never too late to work 9 to 5, and that's 100% true. At any moment, the music industry or film industry or any of those kind of things, how many actors can you think of or musicians you can think of who were like a big deal, like for 3 to 5 years, and then you just don't hear them anymore? And I think to myself, it's a really fickle and weird thing. So for me, it's kind of like, I don't really work in that world of like gazillions of dollars and worrying about like, millions of tickets being sold. It's a lot more of a grassroots cottage industry kind of thing for me than the solo world. And but that's if you would have told me that was going to be my life when I was 14 years old playing guitar, I would have been like, sign me up. Like this is like, in a lot of ways, it takes away the pressure of having to be, worry so much about how many units you're selling and all that kind of stuff. To me, it's just like, we make music, we play music, and people come, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
It must be very liberating because you get to do exactly what you want to do, and there is no other influence. But does it ever get a little scary? Because I guess it is frightening looking at a blank page, and there's a lot of possibilities, but
I think that's the frightening aspect of it, to me, has always been the most interesting aspect of it. And I've said it a million times, like even getting up on stage and playing acoustic guitar by myself. The first time that happened, it was kind of like, it's kind of terrifying. Not really scary, but it's just out of your wheelhouse, So anytime something like that comes up, I've often been like, there's things that you always say yes to, like, do you want to go play a show here? And, something that I do, yeah. But once in a while, somebody will say something, do you want to do something that's totally not what you do? And if I ever have that kind of feeling of like, yeesh, I don't know, I go, I should probably do that, because that doesn't happen very much in life, acting, things like that I've done, that I kind of, I did it enough to go, I don't think that's really what I enjoy doing, but I certainly think it's something that should be, taken on and challenged. And I think that's kind of that kind of fear of whatever project you're going into. Even now I'm getting ready to do another acoustic record. I've been sort of slowly working on doing an electric record, when I say electric, like a full rock band record, for years. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a solo thing or, I was always really fascinated with